Hey everybody, welcome to my suburban oasis. My name is Soleil and I garden in Zone 6A in mid-Michigan, and we're out in the garden today in the shade woodland border, and we are going to be actually planting out a Pinpoint blue false cypress. And before we get started, I just want to give you a look around at what we're going to do, because we have to actually move some other plants to get to what we want to do. All right, so this is kind of like a musical plant stay. Here we go. So this is the border that I really want to be planting the Pinpoint blue false cypress in, and it is over here. Now this Pinpoint blue false cypress is probably about 16 inches tall maybe, so it's not very big, and I'm hoping that I'm able to use one of my cloches, either this one or the other one back here, to try to protect it from any animals digging it up, because it is rather small. But I can't keep it in this tiny pot all winter. That just won't work. So this is what we are eventually hoping to plant, and I hope to plant it in the middle of this garden bed, almost where this boxwood is right now. But obviously that means that I have to dig the boxwood out. Well, what do I want to do with the boxwood? I want to actually move the boxwood over to the left here, which means that I need to dig the azalea out, and I need to put the azalea someplace else. So that azalea is going to go back here where we have this hosta right here. And this hosta is really, really big. It's super wide. It's actually kind of covering up part of the weeping spruce over here, as well as the goat's beard, because it's just going to continue to get more and more massive as it ages. So we're going to dig that one out, and then after we get this one out, then I can move the azalea. I can follow then by moving the boxwood, and then we can get the Pinpoint blue false cypress planted. How does that sound for a plan? All right, let's get going. Now this hosta may be given to a friend or a family member. I don't really have a plan for it right now, but I'm gonna dig it out and we'll deal with that afterwards, because that's not really a concern for me right now. I know that I have lots of these hostas, and it's not going to, you know, go unused. Let me just say that. I know many people are always trying to make sure that I find a good home for my plants that I might be digging out, and trust me in that I do that as much as I possibly can. The soil is really moist because we got about a ½ inch of rain, I think, last night. And today, as you can see by my hat, it's really cool outside. It is going to be a high of like 60 today, so not very warm. And it's really breezy and partly cloudy. So I'm trying to keep myself warm while I do this work. Eventually I will warm up though, I'm sure. I'm gonna disappear behind the hosta possibly here. There is a stepping stone that's right behind it. I gotta move that a little bit so I can get to its roots. I probably could have come through and cut off a bunch of these leaves from the hosta before I started digging. I think I just about have the root ball up, but it is giant. I hope I can get it out. I might have to call the hubby out here for a minute to help. I want to try and leave as much of this awesome soil in place as possible. Because it's really, really nice soil here. Oh. think I'm standing on a root. There we go. My goodness, this thing is massive. I will say, of all the plants that I have in my garden, hostas have probably fared the best for me in times of both drought and wet. They are such an amazing plant, incredibly resilient. And again, I'm just trying to get some of that soil off the bottom here. I don't want to have to plant in a big deep hole, but I may end up having to go get some buckets of compost to help fill in this hole. All right, here we go. So, as you can see here, this is a pretty big hole, and there's going to be a lot more space here when we plant the azalea instead of having that hosta. So let's dig up the azalea, shall we? Well, it should be a much easier task to dig up this azalea than it was to dig out that hosta. And this azalea actually, I think, has been getting a little bit too much sun. So I think it will be happier over where it's part shade over here in the garden. You can see actually the root ball on this has barely rooted out into this system because they have very shallow roots. Now there's definitely more of a front side to this and a back side. Let me see if I can get this in the right spot. Hopefully it will really love the soil over here. It's a nice, moist mix. I do think I'm going to need to get some additional soil to put around here, or compost from my compost pile. So let me go do that. I've got some really great compost. I'll just toss some back there. Hopefully we have plenty. And the azalea is really going to love this. All right, let's see if that's enough. Now this is a slope that I'm planting on, so I'm making sure that the front of the azalea is matching the slope, and then just gonna firm all this compost around it. And I do have some mulch as well, so we'll put that over the top. But you don't want to mulch azaleas too much. They have very surface roots and they like the air and the moisture right up around the top. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And just firm it in front as well. There we go. I think that looks nice. Okay, let's turn the camera around and work on moving the boxwood now. I also filled in the hole when I took out the redbud. I filled it in with compost over here too, so I lucked out in that I had quite a bit of good compost this year, probably due to having so much rain. A lot of you have asked to see my composting process. I can show it to you in another video perhaps. I have done one, so if you search my playlist you can find that. But also I may do an updated one just to show you, but it's really quite simple. I don't really do anything significant to compost. I'm a cold composter. Really just put it in the bin and set it and forget it. All right, this boxwood has a really nice root ball here. And again, I don't want to plant too deep. Want to leave room for the mulch. And we'll mulch everything at the end here. Kind of fill this hole in. All right. Now, I think I actually want to plant the false cypress right in the middle, which means this catch fly is kind of in the way. We'll just move that over to where we took the boxwood out. And yeah, like I said, I think I want to plant this right in the middle here. And it's going to have a very small root ball because it's so small. And I'm just kind of chopping things up down there. I think this was a dump site for some gravel and brick pieces when my house was first built. So that's why the gritty sounds happening in there. All right, let's get that false cypress in. Oh, this is great. I see the roots coming out the bottom of the pot. Nice white healthy roots. Excellent. I hope this grows well in my garden. I've seen a lot of reviews where some people say it just doesn't do well for them. So this is in an area where I can stretch the hose out to water it if I need to. So I think it will work out. Oh, that color is so pretty. Let's get some mulch down now. So I dumped about half the bag of mulch down in here. And this will just make everything look a little fresher. Help suppress any weeds as well. And hold in the moisture over the winter time. And now I'm going to put the cloche over it. I think I'm going to need to use the tall, narrow one here. And I think it's just gonna fit. Ooh, that's tight. I don't like that. All right, I don't think that I'm going to have a cloche that fits this. So let's finish planting the azalea over here with some mulch just to finish it off. And then we'll take a look at what the finished garden bed looks like from another angle. I put about half a bag of mulch over here as well. Like I said, I don't want to put too much mulch for an azalea's roots. But I definitely want to make sure that it's protected through the winter. Because it can be a little bit tricky planting evergreens this time of year, which is why I'm planting them now instead of in a couple of weeks. That way they'll have more time for the roots to set in and grow. All right, let's take a look at how this looks now. So here we have it. It's a little bit hard to see because it is so small, but just look at that blue foliage. That is stunning. If this plant makes it in my garden, I'm going to be so happy. And I don't know if I'll find a cloche that's tall enough for it, but I may just put some small fencing around it this winter. So I'll leave it be for now. Hopefully it will be just fine the way that it is, and we'll be able to come through and put a little protection around it when it starts to get real cold, and maybe the bunnies are looking for some food during the winter. But you can tell that this has opened up quite a bit of space in this garden bed without the hosta, and it changes the feel of the design. But I like this because it's going to put some early spring color over here. And like I said, hopefully the azalea will be even happier in this space than it was in a little bit more sun back there. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.